It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne. And it's important to me that I fix it.
I met Turk, shout out to Turk, you little you ain't here, but you. We gon' you and we won't you. You heard me?
Damn!
We gon' put that piece where we want.
Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody started going to jail, started hanging out.
It looks like Lil Wayne is officially done pretending everything's fine. After Birdman went off on Turk during the Cash Money Versus, No Limit vs. Showdown, fans instantly started connecting the dots, and Wayne's silence said it all. You could literally feel the tension through the screen. This wasn't just some rap beef, this was family falling apart in front of the world. Let's not forget, these men weren't just label mates, they were brothers. The Hot Boys came up together from nothing, turning street dreams into platinum plaques. And for years, Wayne stood by Birdman through it all, defending him like a father figure. But this time, that silence cut deep. It felt heavy, like he finally saw the truth behind all those business decisions. Because when you piece it together, the money disputes, the court battles, the public fallouts, and those cold-hearted disses, it starts looking like Birdman didn't just break friendships, he shattered the foundation that built Cash Money's legacy. The empire that once ruled hip-hop might never be the same again.
See this man. Y'all see what's going on. I think No Limit won. You know, that's my honest opinion. They was more organized. They was grown up about the city.
Now here's where things really blew up. It all went down at ComplexCon during the Cash Money Versus. No Limit Versus on October 25th, 2025. Fans showed up expecting pure nostalgia, classic hits, surprise reunions, maybe even some peace between old friends. But instead, Birdman grabbed the mic and flipped the whole event upside down. Out of nowhere, he shouted,
I met Turk, shout out to Turk, you little you ain't here, but you. We gon' you and we won't you. You heard me?
Damn!
We gon' put that piece where we want.
The crowd froze in shock. For a split second, it felt like the air got sucked out of the room. And then boom, social media went into full meltdown mode. As soon as Birdman's outburst hit the internet, people started tagging Turk nonstop. Old interviews were getting reposted left and right, and everyone was asking the same question: what went down this time? Later that night, Turk went live, calm but clearly fed up. You could hear it in his tone. He wasn't angry, he was just done with the constant disrespect.
I understand our language, you feel me? But I got to say this for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know y'all can't f with me when y'all wanna f with me. And I just wanna leave it at that, man. Like we gotta stop sending out these mixed messages to people, cause y'all, you know, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Respectfully.
Then came the line that set the whole internet on fire: give me my percentage. That hit like a truth bomb. Because this wasn't just about hurt pride or some ego trip. This was about money, loyalty, and broken promises.
I love though, we ain't doing no tripping over here. Big YNT, man. You know, YNT. That's what's going on over here.
That's when fans really started putting two and two together. If Turk is still fighting for his cut after all these years, maybe Birdman's been running the same hustle on everyone from the start. Meanwhile, Wayne's silence said more than any interview ever could. He didn't tweet, he didn't comment, nothing. And that quiet hit harder than a diss track. It felt like even he knew this beef ran too deep to be fixed with words. But to understand how raw this situation really is, you gotta go way back. Before the fame, before Cash Money Records, before the charts.
The Hot Boy there was one of the first ones in the city that had a little backpack with the money and all that in the city. But yeah, his best friend killed him.
The name Hot Boys didn't start in the studio. It started in the streets of New Orleans Magnolia projects in the late 80s. Back then, the original Hot Boys weren't rappers. They were real street figures. Sterling, Donnie, Mosquito, and Terrence Gangster Williams, who just happened to be Birdman's older brother. These men were feared, respected, and unstoppable. Their name carried serious weight in the city, long before anyone even dreamed of making a hit record. But like most street stories, it turned dark fast. One by one, they were either killed or locked up.
But besides that, you got the Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the Hot Boys. Before that, the Ross, and Cali, all them niggas come from under my umbrella. Every last one of them niggas. Ain't too many niggas ain't been up under my umbrella. If they say it or don't say it, all them niggas come from.
Only Gangster Williams lived long enough to watch Birdman take that same name and flip it into a music empire. So when Birdman decided to use the name Hot Boys for his new rap crew, it wasn't by chance. It was strategy. He took a name born in the streets and flipped it into a full-blown empire. But with that move came a shadow, because what started as tribute soon turned into a curse.
It was impossible to have any type of genuine or real feelings. I was on stage. I was in performance mode. I was trying to think about the words for the next song. Honestly, so I was just trying to make sure he didn't say it at a time where it was my verse and I messed up a line.
By the mid-1990s, Birdman and his brother Slim had transformed Cash Money from a street hustle into a powerhouse label. And they needed a crew that carried the same fire, grit, and danger that the original Hot Boys once did. That's when the new generation stepped in: Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG. The new age Hot Boys. They had the look, the hunger, the wild energy that screamed New Orleans. Birdman saw them and instantly saw dollar signs flashing in his eyes. He knew he had something special, and he marketed them like they were already hip-hop royalty before they even dropped a chart hit.
Good, man.
What's up, Moolah?
I'm booling. How you good?
You already know.
Yeah, man. How Lil B? How Priya?
Man, Brian, good, man. He graduated from college, man.
I know, man.
He got his own little spot, you heard me?
Man, what, man?
Yeah. We'll graduate next year, bro. You hear me? You know.
Soon, the Hot Boys were everywhere. Every mixtape, every stage, every club. They were dripping in chains, riding in flashy cars, and shouting out Birdman like he was their godfather. The message was clear. Loyalty to Baby comes first. And for a while, it worked perfectly. Albums like Get It How You Live and Guerrilla Warfare turned the crew into Southern rap legends. But that loyalty came with a serious price. Birdman made sure he controlled everything: the contracts, the royalties, the publishing. He owned the empire, and they were just living inside of it. At first, nobody dared question him. Birdman was the boss, the mentor, the provider. But once the checks started coming in and the math didn't add up, cracks began to show. And it didn't take long for the first one to walk. Juvenile packed up and left, claiming he wasn't getting paid what he was owed.
I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million. Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. No cap.
After Juvenile walked away, BG wasn't far behind. He went public, calling Birdman a straight-up crook. Then Turk got locked up, and when he finally came home, reality hit hard. The money he thought was waiting for him, gone, just vanished. Through it all, Wayne stayed loyal. He stood by Birdman's side, calling him Pops in interviews and refusing to say a single bad word. But behind that loyalty, even Wayne started to notice something wasn't adding up. Because here's the truth. Birdman wasn't just a CEO, he was the gatekeeper. If you dared to question him, your career froze overnight.
The Hot Boys, the actual street crew.
Okay.
What year did that come together?
1994, we all started hanging together, but we knew each other from, like, me and Mosquito. We kind of grew up together.
And the Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody, like, started going to jail, started hanging out.
Wayne might have been the youngest of the crew, but he wasn't naive. He watched how every artist before him got pushed out, and quietly, he started plotting his own way out. A move that would shake the entire hip-hop world to its core. By 2015, the tension finally snapped. Wayne couldn't take it anymore and filed a massive $51 million lawsuit against Birdman's Cash Money Records. He claimed he was owed an $8 million advance, plus another $2 million once the Carter Five was finished. On top of that, Birdman allegedly kept the profits from Wayne's own label, Young Money Entertainment. Basically, while Wayne was keeping the brand alive, Birdman was allegedly pocketing the rewards. Birdman, of course, denied everything, saying he never held Wayne's music hostage. But behind closed doors, the anger was boiling. Wayne's biggest album, The Carter Five, stayed locked away for years because of all that legal drama. Fans waited, frustrated, as the project turned into one of the most anticipated albums in rap history. Then, in 2018, they reached a settlement rumored to be over $10 million. But Birdman, being Birdman, couldn't leave it at that. He later bragged that he gave Wayne $400 to $500 million. A claim nobody believed for a second. And even though they hugged it out for the cameras, everyone watching knew that peace wasn't real. It was just business. Now, to keep it real, Birdman has tried to defend himself, at least in public. For years, he's claimed that everybody got paid and that people just don't understand how the business works. He even swore he gave Wayne hundreds of millions through Universal's distribution deals. But every time Birdman starts throwing numbers around, the math never adds up, and fans notice. The receipts always tell a different story. What makes it sting even more is how he flaunts his wealth while his old crew struggles to rebuild their lives. Private jets, diamond watches, luxury cars, and wild shopping sprees. Birdman's living like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, most of his former artists are still out here fighting for what's rightfully theirs or trying to recover from careers that never got the push they deserve. And that's the part that cuts the deepest. Because this empire was built on loyalty and family. Family! But when the money started talking, that family disappeared fast. The same people who helped build Cash Money from the ground up got left behind once the checks got big. And just when people thought the drama was finally dying down, boom. In 2022, Birdman's older brother, the original hot boy Terrence Gangster Williams, got released from prison after serving over 23 years. His release sent shockwaves through the whole industry. Even Birdman looked caught off guard. Not long after, Gangsta started doing interviews, speaking on the real hot boys, the street legends who started it all, and revealing what really went down during Cash Money's early days. What he said basically confirmed what fans had always suspected. Birdman didn't just borrow the hot boys' name, he built his label on their legacy, their reputation, and even parts of their story, but never gave them credit. And when people asked Birdman how he felt about his brother finally coming home after 2 decades behind bars, he acted like Gangsta didn't even exist. Gangsta's return changed everything. His interviews didn't just stir the pot, they cracked it wide open. Fans started rewatching old clips, dissecting lyrics, and realizing that Birdman might have rewritten history to fit his own legend. Gangsta spoke with that calm, confident tone of a man who'd seen too much, saying things that made the industry squirm. He talked about how the real hot boys lived and died for that name long before it was ever about music, and how Birdman flipped their street reputation into $1 million brand without ever cutting the people who inspired it in on the deal. And when you think about it, that explains a lot. The power, the control, the silence from everyone around him. It's all tied to that same blueprint. Birdman built an image so big that questioning it felt like disrespect. But Gangsta didn't care. He had nothing left to lose. In one interview, he said, "I just tell the truth. If it makes people uncomfortable, that's on them." That single line hit like a bullet because it exposed how deep the cracks in the Cash Money story really run. What made it even wilder was how Birdman tried to ignore it all. No statements, no interviews, just silence. But that silence screamed louder than any denial. People noticed how quick he is to clap back at rappers or rumors, but when it's his own brother airing him out, not a word. That's when fans started saying, if he's not responding, maybe it's because it's true. By this point, the narrative had flipped completely. The man who once stood as the godfather of Southern hip-hop was now being painted as someone who used loyalty as leverage, turning family into a business deal. And the people who helped build his legacy, Wayne, Turk, BG, even his own blood, were the ones left cleaning up the mess. That silence said everything. It was the final proof that in Birdman's world, loyalty only moves in one direction, toward him. Almost 30 years have passed, and yet the legacy of the Hot Boys is still hanging in limbo. BG just came home from prison, trying to get back on track. Juvenile's out there doing his solo thing, performing for the fans who never forgot him. Turk? He's been speaking his truth loud and clear, calling out Birdman for what he calls unfinished business. And Wayne? He's sitting on top of his empire. Too rich, too guarded, and maybe too scarred to ever look back. Fans keep begging for that dream reunion, hoping to see the Hot Boys back together one last time. But let's be honest, it's not that simple. The wounds run deep, and some cuts never really heal. Birdman might have built the brand, but in the process, he broke the bond. These weren't just rappers making hits. They were brothers. Young men who turned pain and poverty into power. They built a movement that represented loyalty, struggle, and survival in its rawest form. But once money, pride, and power got mixed in, everything they stood for started to fall apart. And now, with Birdman back to throwing public disses and showing off online, one thing's crystal clear. This story isn't finished. Every time Wayne stays quiet, every time Turk speaks up, and every time Birdman flexes for the cameras, it's a reminder that behind all the fame, fortune, and flashy headlines was a family that never truly healed. So now the question everybody's asking is bigger than money. It's about what was lost that can't ever be replaced. If Birdman still owes them millions in royalties, what else does he owe them that money could never buy? Maybe it's respect, maybe it's closure, maybe it's something deeper that even he can't pay back. One thing's for sure, the Hot Boys changed hip-hop forever, but the scars they left behind tell a story the charts could never measure. What do you guys think? Could there ever be real peace between Birdman and the crew? Or is this the end of the road for one of rap's most legendary brotherhoods? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications. It helps me a lot.